I was in London for 2 days. So the first day, I took everybody down to the Court of Justice, the Royal Court. So we got pictures of everybody walking around the Courts of Justice. And the second day, we brought everybody back into a meeting hall, and we explained what we were doing. And these people were begging for like templates. I say, okay, you want a couple of templates? Here's a couple of templates. And you should have seen, man, as soon as I put a couple of templates up on the screen, everybody was coming with their cameras and cell phones taking pictures of the template. I said, look, people, don't go word for word verbatim what this template says. Learn what these words mean. I said, because you're going to get challenged on them, and they're going to try you. And see if you could make heads or tails of what I wrote, but don't think that this is some sort of a form that's going to break all the walls down for you. I said, Bali will tell you. I said, there's another guy who came to one of Bali's seminars in Coventry, not in London. We were in London. I said, and the guy said there was like 50 or 150 of you folks that went in with the simple claim, I, a man, claim the wrong of trespass, see Exhibit A. And he said, every single one of them were rejected. And I said to Bali, that's great. And he's like, what? No, it's bad. No, it's great. Every man gets rejected. I said, you let me know when any man on planet Earth just went after the object of his desire, say some beautiful woman, just walked straight up to her and said, honey, you're going with me, and you're going to live with me for the rest of my life, and you're going to give me sex twice a day, and you're going to pump out 3 kids, and you're going to cook and clean and do everything I order you to do. You understand that? No man on planet Earth. It never worked that easy for a man. So when you're a man, I said to Bali, you tell all these people, if you're a man, you know how to handle rejection. Because a real man knows it don't come that damn easy. So he said, yeah, they said, oh, rejected. I said, good. Now, how does a man handle rejection? He comes at him with what? Candy or flowers or a nice greeting card. What do I tell you people to do? Write a nice card to them, to send them a nice letter, write a sweetness to them, right? I don't say come at them with bitterness and anger and frustration and fear. No. Make believe you're courting a woman. Make believe you're pursuing her. And make believe you're prosecuting, because that's what prosecuting means, to pursue. You're pursuing her. You're prosecuting her. You're courting her. How are you going to do it? How are you going to win her over? You got to act like a man. Now, yeah, can a man just come at them with a gun and say, we're going to take over, and this is the way it's going to be? Yeah, you can do that with a woman. Yeah, you can say, here's a gun, and I'm going to take over, and this is the way it's going to be. Or you're going to kill them with kindness. You're going to say, well, here's a lovely letter. I believe that I'm a man, and I believe that somebody rejected this, and who's the man or who's the woman who rejected or interfered with my right to access this court? Who wrote this? Who wrote this that I'm rejected? Who believes that I'm a reject, or who believes that this paper, who believes such a thought? Why did somebody make such a claim? Who trespassed on my case? Just write something nice and sweet. You got to learn how to handle rejection. See, so these people all ran in with this one-page claim, with this 2-sentence claim, and they were all rejected. And they're like, well, fuck, that didn't work. Of course it doesn't work. It's a form. They see this form coming, and they go, oh, here's another one, here's another one, here's another one, here's another one, here's another. You know what? They'll say, reject. Now, let's see out of that 150, the one person or the one man, the one woman who knew how to handle rejection and did the next step. Because the other 149 are just going to go back home and suck their thumb and say, well, that didn't work.
Yeah, you screwed me.
Right. Well, not me. I mean, nobody screwed anybody.
That's the general.
These are 150 people that just pulled it off my website. I didn't screw nobody. They took the form off. They took the form off my website. This I am man claim wrong trespass Exhibit A. They took it off of the Jesse and Jonathan thing that I put for free for everybody to read. So they thought that they were going to take it and they were going to change their name, change the exhibits, and they thought it was going to work like it worked for Jesse. The only problem is when Jesse went to court, I beat her up for 10 days verbally, mentally. I just beat her to toughen her up. And I said, this is exactly how you're going to say it. You're going to point, you're going to stand firmly, you're going to, square your shoulders, you're going to flare your nostrils. You're going to act like a fucking man. You're going to make a damn claim. somebody's trespassed, somebody's done you wrong, you're requiring me to, I order you, this is the way, I don't give a damn. That's what you're going to do. You're going to play it just like that. You're going to act it all the way through. It's an act. So act like a defendant. Act like a victim. Act like somebody that's been done wrong. Act. But just putting a piece of paper in there and just saying, well, then you come to court and you're a cupcake, is like, that's not how a real man would act. That's not how a real man would pursue or court a woman. He wouldn't do that. That's ridiculous. He's a marshmallow. No woman's going to he's not going to earn her respect. It's an act. They want to see if you're really a man, if you can really pull this off.
Yeah,
just like
I have a notice that I'm preparing for an officer. I actually did something stupid and called my father in to get transported to a mental hospital because I showed up at home and he was running around with his clothes off, and I didn't want him to go outside and get arrested. So I called 911 and they sent police over, and I knew he wasn't going to go peacefully because he was still out of his head. And so I handcuffed him to a pole so he wouldn't get beat up, trying to get away from these guys and stuff. And they came and then, took forever and put foot shackles on him and then switched the handcuffs over and were walking him to the car. I thought I was going to get to go with him to admit him to the hospital. But then he spit on two of the officers while I was in my house. And then once in my house and then once in the driveway. And then they arrested him, and now he's got 2 counts of sliming, which is assault with bodily fluids. And he's looking at 2 years. So I was going to be his next friend because he's just scared. He doesn't have any memory of the event. He was blacked out for a couple of days.
Yeah, they're probably going to go pretty easy on him. They're just going to say he was not in his mental state. He wasn't in a proper mental state, that he was, incapacitated at the time. There's a chemical imbalance or whatever.
So
whatever.
I should go with the property and man aspect. I should just.
No, they're probably just going to, since it happened in his home, and it didn't happen in the public. You know what I'm saying? These men had to understand the dangers that they were in when they crossed into somebody else's jurisdiction. It's just like I said. If you go into somebody else's castle, you better know what the Queen of Hearts is going to do to you when you cross into her threshold, and when you cross into her jurisdiction, you better understand. Oh, isn't this the Queen that always yells off with their heads? Yeah. Then why am I here, messing with this lady, playing with this woman? Doesn't she kill everybody? Yeah. Well, what makes me think I'm going to be any different? So like I said, you just say, thank you for showing up. If there's a man who claims that my dad spitting on him has caused him any loss or injury or any kind of cruel damage, any kind of tangible damage, not mental damage, can you please give us a bill and we'll compensate him for the dry cleaning or whatever. And you try to compensate. You just try to compensate them for what your dad did.
Can I read you the letter that I was going to send to him, and you can tell me if it's bad or
good? Okay, well, what I'm trying to say is, you know and I know what your dad did wasn't, like, the right thing to do, wasn't proper.
Oh, no,
so what
not at all.
Say, you just write a letter so basically saying I was not in my full mental faculties, and, if I did cause harm or injury to any man, can you tender me a bill so I could settle a debt?
Okay. I do have that written out to the officer. I wrote, greetings. I was a man that asked for help getting my father to the hospital. He spit on you. I accept full responsibility since I was the one that called you here. And, any verified claim, bring it to me.
You can say liability, not responsibility. Say you bear all liability. You assume all liability.
Okay.
Just because, like I said, if they pass it off to the legal department, if there's certain words you use, like, I assume all liability, then they're like, oh, a lawyer wrote this.
Mm-hmm.
You say responsibility, they just said responsibility, then you just sound like Joe Sixpack.
Okay.
So sometimes I try to sound like, the people I'm talking to. Like if I'm talking to a 3-year-old, I'll say goo goo and gaga a lot, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I try to get to the level of the person I'm communicating with. And that's what people seem to say to me, that I have, an ability to do that, no matter who's talking to me on the phone. I always had that ability. You know, when I worked for tech support for Sony and Dell computers, I had that ability. People call up, and I don't care if it was a gay hairdresser from Harlem or a wheat farmer in Ohio, Iowa. It didn't matter if it was a housewife in Jersey. I could always get to their level. And whenever all the other tech supports ran into the wall and said, I can't get through to this guy. And then I got the phone. I remember it was a black gay hairdresser from Harlem, man. I said, oh, and I said, would you shut the F up, you half a candy ass sissy, before I come up to New York and I slap you across, you know, your beauty parlor, you know, sweetness. Oh, it was so funny. It was the supervisors, they were listening to see my tactic on how I handle tough phone calls. It was so funny watching like these three supervisors in this booth up in the air looking down at the floor. And I looked right at him, and I was calling this guy every N-word in a book, and I was going off, and this guy was cursing everybody. So he finally got rounded around with me. It was great. And by 20 minutes later, he was saying, hey, man, you come up to New York, I'll give you a free haircut. You know, come out, we'll hang out together. I said, yeah, maybe I'll take you up on it, you know. So then at the end of the phone call, the supervisor said, we should have pulled that plug so many times on you. You know, we should have fired you 100 different ways. We could have fired you. You don't talk to people like, but hell, you know what? I don't know how you communicate with people and you get the message through and you get the information. He was trying to do a spreadsheet. You know, he's trying to use Excel, and he was trying to set up his beauty parlor, or whatever you want to call hair salon. He was trying to set it and do, you know, he couldn't figure it out. So, you know, so I just had to just curse the crap out of him to calm him the F down. I said, now hit A1. Now click this. Now, don't give me no shit. Don't play stupid. It's that key on this. It was so funny, man. You know, the supervisor was like, holy crap. It's like, they said, we were going to pull the plug. We should have pulled the plug, but we couldn't believe you. It was actually working. He's like, yeah, you're going to find this in our training manual. How to talk to these people. You know, so like I said, I remember a couple of them, like I said, like this wheat, you know, farmer. I remember this, you know, because like I said, the supervisor came by and said, I don't have a clue what you two people are talking about. He says, but the farmer loved it, and his computer's up and running now, and, you know, he's got the spreadsheet going, you know, how much milk production, and he's happy. So keep doing what you do, Cole. So, see, I've always had this ability to get down on their level. So if you're talking to an officer who was spit on, you got to understand it. You know what? You know, he didn't sign up to get spit on. And you're like, you know what? If there's anything I could do, you want to make a donation in your name to the Police Benevolence Association. Is there something I could do to compensate you? You know, want to give me the address to Boys Town, and I'll donate a Christmas present. Is there something I could do? I'm sorry that my dad disrespected you in that manner. Is there anything I could do to make it right? Stuff like that. So then when you go to court, you can see that you guys, hey, you know what? He had a bad day. Every dad's got a bad day. You know, and they'll say, oh, okay, you know what? He acted like a man. He's manning up to it. He's assuming all liability. All right. We'll go easy on this guy.
He can't really speak for himself in court, so I was going to be his next friend. I mean, he could, but he's not, he's an idiot. So,
yeah, well, an idiot just means somebody not in the same society. You know, it's just, yeah. You mean he's just out of it. He's just whatever. He's just not in it right now. He's just someplace. Yeah. That's what you got to say. You just got to say he's not in it. You know, he's not with this. You know, he's just in his own way. You know, he's only got a couple more spins around the sun. And he's going to be dead in the ground. Go easy on the old guy.
So when I'm speaking, can I say that he's a man, or does he actually have to put that on paper himself?
You do it. You just do it for him. Say, look, we now we got to bring security guard. You know, we got to bring security system in our home. Next time I have a problem like that, I'm going to dial up Brinks and let them put up with this bullshit. I ain't going to get the public involved with this anymore. Now we're going to settle this all on a private between me and my dad. We ain't going to call the public in for assistance anymore. That was a mistake on my part, and I won't do it again.
I like that donation idea to the police force or something. I think that would be right up their alley.
Yeah. Like I said, you're trying to man up. You're trying to make right for the wrong. That's all. You know, and you just say from now on we're going to get a private. We got a private security system. We can go sign up for Brink Security for a year. Show them that you signed up. So anytime we have a problem now with him, we'll get some professionals in here to fucking help me take care of any situation. I don't want to get the public involved anymore. The public resources shouldn't be wasted and abused by his fucking nonsense. So we'll from now on we'll take care of it on the private side. And now you know better. Your dad goes nuts, let him go nuts. You know, it's his house, let him do what the hell he wants.
Yeah.
You know, he's a man. He's got the right. He wants to, like I said, man, he wants to kill himself, kill himself. You know, you don't bear no liability. Nobody is responsible for another man's actions. He's a man. He's 18 years old. He knows right from wrong. And that's just the way I look at it, man. I'm very, very black and white. And if you might say, wolf call, that's a little harsh. No, it's black and white. Law is very simple. He's liable for his actions and inactions. That's his house. He wants to tear it down, burn it down to the ground. God bless him. He wakes up the next day and says, what did I do? Oh, well. You know, that's what happens. You want to be an asshole? That's the price you pay. Believe me, I've been an asshole my whole life. Believe me, I've paid big prices for being an asshole. Oh, well. It's got me to the point where I'm at now, and I'm very happy at the place I'm at. So
I was going to send a nice letter to each of the officers that got spit on, and then I was going to ask for a pre-trial hearing, sit down with the magistrate and see if, you know, show him the letters and say, hey, I'm willing to do anything. I just want my dad to get better instead of being incarcerated for 2 years.
Yeah, that's all. Because they let him go, right? On his own recognizance, or did they put him in your custody?
Well, he was in the mental hospital for like a week after that, and according to him, someone told him that the charges were dismissed because he got admitted to the hospital. So obviously he you know, was out of his head.
Right. You can't prosecute an idiot, right?
Right. But that wasn't the case. So he missed his court date while he was in the hospital, and then got a warrant served. So
yeah.
He turned himself in, and, you know, now here we are.
Yeah, he turned himself in, and they set another court date. That's all. They set another court date, right, when he turned himself in?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all they do.
But
when you turn it voluntarily, when you turn it voluntarily for a warrant, all they do is set another court date. You just give them a damn good reason why you weren't there, and they say, okay, fine. We'll set another court date.
There is a law on the books in South Dakota that says if you're unconscious of the act, you're not actually capable of committing a crime.
That's right. That's right. He was incompetent at the time of the wrong. But that still doesn't negate the fact that you owe a debt.
Yeah, he did it. He caused damage.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Even though somebody says that I was incompetent at the time, and I didn't mean to chop off Nicole Simpson's head and the waiter boy who was bringing her glasses back to her, O.J. Simpson's still liable. Even though he wasn't in his right mind. Okay, great. You weren't in your right mind. That's fine. We understand that. But you're still liable for the debt. It's like, I don't care you drinking and driving and you're really drunk out of your mind and you plowed your car through a classroom, or you plowed your car through a Maserati dealer. You still got to fix all those damn cars. Well, I was really drunk. Yeah, and? Or I had a stroke. Yeah, and? Well, I had a heart attack. Yeah, and? You're still liable. Well, what do you mean? Nobody told you to wake up in the morning and get behind that steering wheel. Well, I was really fucked up at the time. Good. Lovely. Who cares? You're still liable. There's no excuses. You're still liable. They say, well, I was really feeling bad. No. Mitigating circumstances? No, I don't want to hear it. You're still liable. Did you do it? Yes or no? Yeah. Like I said, it's funny. You watch a Judge Judy, and she does this. These people come on there with mitigating circumstances. Like, well, you don't understand. I was under a lot of stress. You don't understand. My boyfriend was yelling at me. You don't understand. I've been terrorized by my neighbor for the last 3 years. And then most of the time she says, I don't give a shit. You still did wrong. It's like, lovely story. But you know what? Nobody gives a damn. And I think that's why people like Judge Judy, and they kind of like, like my style. She's like a bitch.
Tough love.
She's like, I don't give a damn. That's a lovely story, but who gives a shit? And that's why I say to people, that's a lovely story, but who gives a shit? You're still liable. Your dad did something wrong. He knows you shouldn't have done it. Yes, the cops are, slightly at fault, too, for stepping into your home, and they have to bear the understanding that when they walk into a domestic situation, man, anything can happen. If they did this to him in public, man, they should have took him down and whooped him.
That would be true.
But if it's in his house, you know what? It's the different circumstances. We're basically a guest in this man's home. He's looking at us as a hostile enemy. We're attacking his control, his jurisdiction over his castle. We're challenging him in his beliefs that this is under his exclusive domain, and we're going to try to capture him like an animal in his own home, and he's going to fight like a tiger. And they got to understand it's different than when this clown walks out into the public and takes off his clothes and starts spitting at people. Oh, you think that's going to happen? Oh, we're going to take you down. Now you're in my home. And that's what I tell people all the time. The public domain, where you walk around in public, you hire public servants to control your, what you call your domestic authority. When you're in your home, you're under your enclosure, you're in your domestic authority. That's private. But public, people say, well, what if I decide to take off my clothes and sing Broadway show tunes in the middle of the street? Oh, the public has the right to hire their servants to say, this is our home. This is our one big communal home. And you don't like how we do things in our society, in our little communal home here? Leave. Go find another town where they tolerate that nonsense. Like go to Woodstock, New York, or go to San Francisco, or Seattle. Go to some desert in Nevada where they have this Burning Man bullshit. Go act like that over there. Mm-hmm. But you ain't doing it here. Because this is under our domestic authority. This is under our control, and we hire public servants to protect this area.
Is the domestic authority doctrine written down anywhere?
Yeah, I pulled it, I think, right out of Blackstone's.
Out of Blackstone's?
Pull it out of Blackstone's, and I pulled it out of Blackstone's, and I pulled it out of Black's Law, like, I don't know what edition. Back then I was using, like, I
got the third.
I like the fourth. I think it was the fourth. It was kind of interesting. Yeah, the fourth was really interesting.
Okay.
And then I didn't go past the ninth. The 10th was too short. The ninth was okay. 8th and 9th was okay. But like I said, that's just their beliefs. It's just like if we were in Saudi Arabia, I tell you, what part of the Quran should you read? Read the cow. You know what, the cow? The cow is, that's where most of the information that you're going to find when you need to go to court. You're going to find it through the, part of the Quran called the cow. Read the cow. But like I said, in this country, no, don't read the Quran. Why? Read the King James Version of the Bible. Read that. Read Leviticus. Read the Old Testament. Read that. Read Deuteronomy. That's how basically our court systems roll.
If things go bad and they don't seem like if they are like, tough shit, he spit on an officer, he's going to jail, whatever, and they just, don't want to.
But the problem is he didn't do it in the public. He did it in his private. He's a caged animal. He's protesting his domain. You walked into his lair, into his cave. What are you out of your fucking mind? What do you think was going to happen? He's going to give you tea and crumpets? The fuck do you think was going to happen? You knew it. You put on a uniform and a badge. You was crazy enough to walk into a domestic situation. You know it's the most dangerous thing to walk into. They teach you that first thing in the academy. People are back into they're going to fight like a fucking animal.
Yeah, and then if if the sugar doesn't work, then I could say, claim court record.
It'll just work. It'll be fine. You guys got to stop saying, I've never ran into a man who just didn't accept the fact that another man had a bad day. And another man's trying to compensate him and saying, you know what, this is the best I could do. What else do you want from me? There's nothing else I have. What else do you wish of me? Mm-hmm. I want to go to that court of record nonsense. But like I said, every court is a court of record. You have to tell them expressly, according to like the Common Law of England or the Common Law of Black's Law Dictionary Edition 4, that I have the right to evoke a court of record, which in their belief, which I also believe is your belief, means it only moves under the common law where the magistrate is independent of the tribunal. You just say court of record, they'll look at you like you're fucking crazy. I guarantee they have courts of record in Alaska, the Eskimos. They write their record. They're recording on a massive igloo, a massive ice cube somewhere. So what? What rules are we running under? Sioux Indian rules, or Arapaho rules, or Aboriginal rules, or Eskimo rules? Aleutians? What Mongolian rules? Of course, they're all courts of record. Of course, somebody's keeping a record of it. But what kind of court of record? Oh, you mean a court that keeps record, or a court of record which I define as a court that's independent of the magistrate's independent of the tribunal and only moves under the common law. It does not move under statutes. You just say, hey, court of record. I said, court of record, what? Just by saying, I evoke the banana court. They'll say the banana court of what? What banana court? You say it's like a court of record, like everybody knows what you're talking about. Like banana court. What's banana court? And it's like I'm a man and I'm going to move my banana court into this public venue. Okay, what's your banana court? Can you tell us what the banana court is based on? Oh, if you're wondering what my court of record is based on, oh, you can look at Blackstone's commentary, section 378, or you can look at a good version of it is in Black's Law Dictionary, the 4th edition, where the magistrate is independent of the tribunal, and it only is going to move under the common law, which means it's going to only be man on man. That an officer or an agent of the government cannot testify unless he takes the oath as a man. That banana court you want. Oh, okay, that's what you call banana court? Oh, okay, we call it court of record, but okay. Well, we call it claims court. Oh, okay. Is that what you mean? Or we call it the people's court like Judge Judy does. You see Judge Judy, she does courts of record. It's like, okay, I get it now. She does claims court. She makes courts of record, people's courts. Okay, court of record, banana court. Okay, whatever you fucking call it. Call it whatever you want. Just tell me, what's a banana court? Yeah, well, I evoked the court of record. Okay. Can you tell us what a court of record is? Okay, see Exhibit A. Like I do, notice. I gave him a notice of what a court of record was. Court of record is the magistrate's independent tribunal. I don't want anybody to open my case or review my case until it becomes before a jury. The magistrate, the court clerks are independent of the tribunal, which consists of I, the prosecutor, the wrongdoer, and the jury. I don't want anybody else's eyes on the case, in the case, touching the case, trespassing on the case. I gave him a notice what banana court means. I gave him a notice of what court of record means. I gave him an understanding what Lentz court means. Just because I evoke Lentz court, I'm like, Lentz court, what? The fuck is that? And I see everybody saying, the Arsenal, like the Jesse Arsenal, it's like Arsenal court. That's right, the Arsenal court. But I explained that for 10 days what the Arsenal court was. You guys will run in and say, my name's Joe Smith. I evoke Smith court into this federal court or into this local district court or at this fucking court. And they're like, Joe Smith court, what? What's Joe Smith court mean?
Exhibits. Would it be smart to put an exhibit in that separated him from his person? Certificate of live birth exhibit versus.
No, that's ridiculous. That's the most asinine shit I've ever heard.
Not necessary. Okay.
You're just looking for an ass whooping.
Well,
but you have no idea how to follow that all the way through to the end. You just watched a YouTube video clip. You got a 5-minute explanation of it, and now the judge is going to challenge you on it for the next 3 or 4 hours. Are you going to be able to deal with this questioning for the next 3 or 4 hours?
Hit me, Carl. Hit me with them.
No, I'm not.
Okay.
Like I said, I don't do that nonsense. This is what I'm saying. This is what you've got to do. Because like I said, when I saw that man in Chicago, he said he listened to plenty of my shows, him and his brother. He took about 2 seconds of crap from the judge, and he folded up like a cheap suit. The guy was terrified.
Mm-hmm.
Just because you guys try to practice with this shit with me, and it doesn't mean when you go in a court, and the guy was like, showtime. The guy just fucking totally collapsed. And like his brother told you, he's got like a black belt in jiu-jitsu or whatever. He's not a cream puff. He's not a marshmallow. All right, yeah, thanks, man. Yeah, he's not a cream puff. He's not a marshmallow, but he totally folded up like a cheap suit. It was like I said, watching a Roadrunner cartoon, watching Coyote get hit by an anvil and a bowling ball and a lightning bolt. It was ridiculous. It was me and the lawyer were laughing our asses off. Because the guy was like, what's so funny? Dude, you should have seen you. It was like watching a Wile E. Coyote Roadrunner cartoon. You were like running around in circles, man, banging your own head, hitting the head with a mallet. The judge hands you a fucking hammer and you hit yourself in the head with it. It's like, oh, come on, you got to be kidding me. We've been practicing this stuff, we've been talking about it, and you go to court and it's like, you totally fell apart.
The justice.
So like I said, all right, I could practice with you guys for years. You guys are going to walk in, you're going to do what you're going to do. Like I said, thank God Jessie was a mom fighting for her kids, man, and that's one animal that you don't want to tangle with. So thank God she had it in her instinctively, inherently, with God-given within her to fucking, fight to the death. She wasn't going to panic. She wasn't going to whimper. She wasn't going to cry. She was going to go freaking nuts. And she was going to fucking, make it clear as a bell that that's my effing property, and you better effing give it back, and I mean effing now.
Well, I could claim that they're administrating my property without right. Could I not?
They're not administrating anything, dude. You're the one who called them in.
So I'm administering it.
You invited them in.
I did.
You invited Pandora. You opened Pandora's box into your life. You knew what was going to happen when you bring cops into your life. It ain't going to come out good. It ain't going to come out good for you or your dad. That's what I laugh. I laugh my ass off when you see these women calling up the 911 because the husband threw a paperclip at them and said, I don't have to deal with this abuse, and they call them 911 and report domestic violence. And then the next thing you know, the husband's like, you know what? I'm out of here. You know what? Fuck it. You know, and then the wife's like, well, you know, I was a victim of domestic violence. So what did your husband do? Oh, he threw a paperclip off at me, and I'm not tolerating that. Or he yelled at me, and I'm not going to be yelled at in my house. It's like, you know what? Fine. Fuck it. Keep the house. I'm out of here. So what do you think that it was going to solve by bringing a third party in to settle your dispute? You can't handle it man to man? You got to bring a third party in over every little bullshit thing?
I was just worried he was going to jump out of the car on the way to the hospital.
Okay, so he jumps out of the car.
Yeah.
See, this is what, like I said, the first wife said it drove her crazy. That it seemed she said that Karl doesn't care. It's like, no, you got free will. You do whatever you wish. Because it's funny, like I said, one day I was leaving my house on a little taxi company down in Daytona Beach. And I was leaving like 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning, get ready for the morning shift, and she's sitting in the driveway, some young guy, some little twerpy guy, in his Monte Carlo, and had like wine glasses. I don't know if they did anything or not. I didn't give a shit. I said to the guy, can you back that car up? He says, who are you? And she said, oh, don't mind him, he's just my husband. And I looked like some McGill gorilla-looking guy. And the poor kid was like pissing his pants, like, oh, she didn't tell me she was married. I said, kid, whoa, stop. I don't give a fuck. What I do give a fuck about is that I can't make a living. I can't make an income. You're blocking my taxi, and I need to get out of this fucking driveway. Now, when I leave, you can pull back in this fucking driveway and do whatever the fuck you want. But all I know is I need to go out there and make a living. And she said, see, he doesn't care about me. He doesn't love me. He doesn't give a shit what I do. And I both explained, I said, no, it's called free will. You do what you wish to do, and I do what I wish to do. And one day I might feel like pulling up the driveway with a little Susie Cupcake in a Monte Carlo. And guess what? I ain't going to give a shit what your opinion is either. You do what you want. I do what I want. I got to answer to my maker. You'll have to answer to your maker. You don't got to answer to me.